Ever wanted a light novel but just don't want to commit? One of my biggest problems with the medium is that some of these series are 10, 20, 30, some even 40 volumes long, often with no end in sight.
And for you guys, I have one thing. Recommendations.
But before we get that, just a moment of your time. If you like light novels and want more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free and ensures your shelf is well stocked with great reads. I do videos every other week focusing on lesser known titles with official releases.
To start things off, we have the absolutely superb 3 Days of Happiness.
Kusunoki always believed he was destined for greatness. However, at the age of 20, he's gone nowhere. No motivation, no dreams, no money, no future.
He discovers he can sell off his remaining lifespan for money, and he expects to be able to use that wisely and have a more fulfilling life. But things aren't quite as easy as you'd expect.
I feel the theme of Last Few Days to Live has been explored quite extensively. It also happens to be one of the greatest Simpsons ever to be written, but 3 Days of Happiness subverts things excellently.
Now, this is one that I've never really had the chance to talk about on the channel, and the reason being is, well, it's one I implore people to check out for themselves. There is, well, a few twists and turns that, if I talk about this for far too long, I will spoil things greatly. But rest assured, this is one that you guys do not want to miss.
But please, take it from me that 3 Days of Happiness is an excellently written title that just about everyone who has an interest in reading Japanese literature should try at some point. Oh, bring the tissues. You might need them.
Do you like murder mysteries? Do you like samurai? Well, if you like them, do I have a recommendation for you.
The Samurai and the Prisoner is an interesting title. Set during 1578, Araki Murashige has betrayed Oda Nobunaga and has holed himself up in Arioka Castle. However, there's mystery afoot, for a string of incidents begin to take place. However, there is one who can help solve those incidents, Kuroda Kanbei, whom is imprisoned in the castle's dungeon.
Now, I'm going to be honest, I have very little knowledge in the ways of the samurai. I know them from, well, pop culture. But I did recognise Kanbei, and the reason I recognised them was from Samurai Warriors. He was the cool designed one. But if you want a murder mystery and samurai stuff, this is something that you want to check out.
These are largely whodunit mysteries, but each one is interesting and different enough to warrant a place in the novel. It's also a historical title, with a lot of things having to fit real life history. It's rather unique.
Now, I really did enjoy my time with Samurai and the Prisoner. It being short stories really helped its case. If I'm honest, if it was one long murder mystery for 400 pages, I think I would have gotten a little bit bored. And I do need to say that it did take me a while to get into the whole of the setting and the way the author wrote it. If you want something easy and light to get into, this isn't for you.
Tunnel of Summer, the light novel I had actually watched the anime movie of prior, and yeah, it was pretty good.
This is about a young man who discovers a mysterious tunnel that has the power to grant one's wishes, and he plans to use that to bring back his deceased sister.
When Kaoru starts to explore the tunnel, he discovers he's been followed by the new girl in class, Anzu. They agree to work together to investigate the time-twisting tunnel and uncover its mysteries.
This is a story about life and death and people wanting to change that which they cannot. Now, I do find that this is a recurring theme in some of these recommendations, so if you like this, you will like some of the more later recommendations. Now, I do want to address something else. I have actually watched the movie for this particular one about 2 years ago. It hasn't had a home video release recently, at least not in the UK, but there were a few plot threads that, well, the anime movie just didn't go anywhere with them. The light novel did. So on that merit, I would recommend the light novel over the movie. Or, if you enjoyed the movie, there's plenty more content to justify rereading it. Can you remember when anime looked like this? The classic era of sci-fi anime that I personally grew up with. Now, if you're wanting something to go back into that era, well, you don't want to miss Yokohama Station SF.
Set in the apocalyptic future, and Japan has been taken over by the ever-grown Yokohama Station, a series of buildings that has been around for as long as people can remember. Those who live outside of it talk about the mysteries inside. However, for once people enter, they never leave.
The title is about completion and the fact that Yokohama Station in real life has constantly had some work done on it over the past 100 years. What is the end goal? Is there an end goal? Will it just continue going and going? Well, this fantastic, perfect sci-fi title that harks back to the classic 90s anime of your childhood looks into this.
Now, I'm going to add a little disclaimer to this one. There is more in the world of Yokohama Station with a second volume. However, that is essentially side content cut from the main plot. For all purposes, you can start and read the entire of the story in these pages. It's up to you whether you choose to have the world expanded, and read it you should. For this one is an absolutely fantastic story that we just don't see enough of these days. A real good treat for those wanting a new dystopian sci-fi world.
Which brings us on to J.K. Haru is a sex worker in another world. Don't let the title put you off. This one is one of the greats.
J.K. Haru is about a girl named Haru, a popular girl who ends up getting a raw deal when she's sent to another world with one of her classmates, whom is an unpopular loser, and she unfortunately ends up having to work the oldest profession in the world.
This isn't done to titillate, however. This is actually a very well written title, and it's one that I will constantly hype up because a lot of titles don't manage to do what J.K. Haru does in 20 volumes. It's a well-defined isekai, it's got a lot of playful moments, and a lot of very well-defined characters.
Haru herself never really loses sight of who she is. Despite her situation, she never stops trying for a better life, and there are plenty of nice slice of life moments in there that break up the pace. I also really like the fact that the unpopular loser, who would normally in any other light novel be the centre of attention and the focus, ends up being an unpopular loser.
Now, much like Yokohama Station SF, this actually has 2 and soon to be 3 volumes. However, I'm choosing to include this because, well, volumes 2, the summer and the soon to be autumn edition, are actually side stories set in the same world. For an isekai that does just about everything in one volume and then chooses to go back and give you extra content in the extra volumes, I don't see that very often, and that's one of the reasons why I would recommend trying this one out.
After all the nitty-gritty and dark tones of J.K. Haru, let's look at something a little bit more sweet, shall we? Specifically, how to win her heart on the nth try.
If I had to give this a demographic, it would be a josei.
This is the hallmark story of a nearly 30-year-old woman who is so busy with work until one day her childhood friend swoops in to lead a helping hand. She's always seen him as a friend, but he's long harboured feelings for her. Will they get together? Well, you'll soon find out.
Honestly, the premise is nothing new, but when you are constantly reading isekai or school slice of life / school romance, anything with adults in is always to be treated with, well, hope. And this one is genuinely good. It has a lot of interesting and fun characters, and I really enjoyed the will they, won't they premise. If you are looking for an adult romance, this one definitely needs to be on your shelf. Hey, You. Yes, you. Do you like anime? Well, I'm assuming you probably do if you're watching this channel. Well, what about the anime industry?
In a title that isn't Shirobako comes Anime Supremacy, following 3 women in various roles: director, producer and animator, and their experiences in the anime industry.
From difficult colleagues, annoying compromising, and, well, just everything being against you. This title takes a good look at the misery of the joy that is creating anime.
I feel like there are only a handful of titles that actually genuinely talk about the anime industry, like Animeta and Shirobako. But there's just something really neat about having a novel. Something that can go that little bit more in depth and just explain things that little bit easier.
This one is really unique, and again, much like Samurai and Prisoner, it took me a little while to get into it, but it was really worth it once I did. I can't think of any other novelisation that focuses on anime creation, and you'll find some things out about the anime industry that may be different to what you naturally assume. Now, this one is one that I find that I don't see it often in stores, so it might be a little bit harder to get. It might be out of print at this point, I'm not sure, but if you do see it, make sure you pick it up.
I feel like this list has been pretty strong, but there's one title I picked up and just absolutely fell in love with from the get-go: The Miracles of the Namia General Store.
Now, this one may be an obvious recommendation. It's sold 12 million, which is nothing to sneeze at already, and is genuinely well regarded. But that hype is real. This is one that you absolutely need in your collection.
The Namia General Store is an oddity, long since closed down and abandoned. However, when 3 robbers haul up in there after a robbery, they discover a letter asking for advice.
This sets the trio down a journey of self-discovery as they are put into the shoes of the kindly owner who once ran the Namia General Store.
Honestly, there's a reason why this one is so well regarded, and I'm going to be honest here. J.K. Haru, Spice and Wolf, Ascendance of a Bookworm.
All of these are great titles, but if I'm perfectly honest, the Namia General Store, it surpasses them. This is genuinely well worth the hype. It's a one-shot, so you don't have to worry about picking up anymore, but it does things that, well, again, we just don't see done well in a lot of light novels. It is genuinely one of the best Japanese literatures I have ever read, and is well worth that 12 million sold. But if you want thrillers, why not check out some of the author's other works? They do a lot of really good thriller titles that I'm slowly working my way through. And now I have a few recommendations, all from the same author, Tomihiko Morimi.
If you're into Japanese literature, then likely this name has popped up from time to time. The author of titles such as Tatami Galaxy, The Night is Short Walk on Girl and Tower of Sun. Morimi often tells tales relating to university life.
And honestly, I feel like all of his works are genuinely well regarded. Except for Tower of Sun, I wasn't completely sold on that, but every single other one is an absolute hit.
Alongside his university titles, Morimi also expands to other avenues, with the likes of Penguin Highway and Foxtail being departures. The latter is an absolutely fantastic read should you desire a supernatural one, something to chill you on a warm summer's night.
You can't go wrong with most of his works, but I'm going to really specify one particular title, the Tatami Galaxy.
A young man has spent the last few years at university with regret, wishing he could go back and start things over. Because, of course, things would be better, right?
What if, there's always that rose-tinted glasses that you look on and think, what if I did this? Well, things would be better. Is that the case? Well, not always. and Tatami Galaxy really explores that.
There's something quite negative about it all, and yet it feels like it's been done with an experienced eye. In a medium filled to the brim with series where if you were reborn in another world, you'll get the girl, you'll be overpowered, everything will be hunky-dory, everyone will love you. Tatami shows you that you are your best person. And even if you had a chance to be in a different situation, you're likely going to repeat the same mistakes yet again.
Tatami Galaxy is but one of Marimi's fantastic works, and if you like Tatami, I would really recommend delving more into Marimi's back catalogue. Night is Short is a fantastic one, and if you're looking for something a little bit spooky, Foxtails is definitely a recommendation. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I have genuinely enjoyed reading these self-contained titles a lot more than some of these very long-winded 20+ volumes of light novels. And I hope that you guys have gotten at least one or two recommendations for your bookshelf. But if you feel I've missed something, please let me know in the comments, and if you did like this, leave a like and consider subscribing. It really helps the channel, it honestly does. It's absolutely free, not going to cost you a single penny to help the channel. But if you do want light novels, well, check out this video up here. It's 100+ great light novels, my personal top 100 light novels. I'll see you over there on the next chapter. Goodbye.